My brothers and sisters, hear me today, because this is not an ordinary moment, and you are not an ordinary people. We are standing on the edge of something greater than what our eyes can see and our minds can imagine. There is a shaking in the heavens and a stirring in the earth because God has declared a word over you and over me. You will stop the final war. Yes, you heard me right. In a world teetering on the brink of chaos, confusion, and conflict, God has raised up a remnant who refuse to bow to fear, who refuse to bend to darkness, who stand clothed in his authority to push back the tide of destruction. God said, I have anointed you to be a peacemaker in a time of division. I have appointed you to be a warrior of righteousness in a generation addicted to compromise. I have called you to lift up a standard when the enemy comes in like a flood. When the nations rage and leaders tremble, you will stand unshaken. When families break apart and communities fracture, you will stand unbroken. You will not fight with carnal weapons, but with the weapons of prayer, faith, truth, and love. Have you ever wondered why you were born in this exact moment in history? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why you carry the weight you do? Why you sense a pull deep in your soul to make a difference? Why you feel so out of place in a world obsessed with darkness and confusion? Let me tell you, this is not by accident. You were not created to drift through life unnoticed, powerless, or irrelevant. You are not just another face in the crowd, not just another voice lost in the noise. You are God's answer to chaos. You are heaven's response to the cries of a broken world. You are the proof that light still conquers darkness and truth still breaks lies. Right now, all around you, storms are raging. Political storms, cultural storms, family storms, storms in hearts and minds and souls. You don't have to look far to see division, tearing apart communities, fear choking out hope, confusion drowning out truth. People are exhausted, afraid, and desperate for something real, something stable, something that will not fail them. They try to medicate their pain with distractions, drown their anxiety in entertainment, silence their emptiness with busyness, but nothing fills the void. And here you are right in the middle of it all. Chosen, called, positioned. You may feel unqualified, unprepared, too weak, too broken, but let me tell you, you are exactly what this world needs. You carry an answer within you that no politician can legislate, no celebrity can imitate, no social trend can replicate. It's not your degree, your bank account, or your popularity. It's the Spirit of the living God residing inside you. When God breathes purpose into a soul, hell trembles, demons flee, and darkness loses its grip. You may not see it yet, but every time you choose to stand for truth, you shake the gates of hell. Every time you refuse to bend to the pressure of compromise, you draw a line the enemy cannot cross. Every time you open your mouth to declare hope when others declare defeat, you release a weapon more powerful than any bomb or bullet. Some of you have been asking God for a sign, for a miracle, for proof that he still moves in power. Look in the mirror. You are the sign. You are the miracle. You are the living, breathing evidence that God still interrupts history to change the course of the future through ordinary people who dare to believe him at his word. Your presence in that family is not random. Your placement in that job is not accidental. Your struggle, your tears, your scars, they are not wasted. They have been forged into weapons of compassion, understanding, and courage that can reach people no one else can reach. Do you think it's a coincidence that your heart breaks when you see injustice? That your spirit burns when you hear lies being called truth? That you can't stand still when you witness suffering? That restlessness is holy? That burden is divine? It is heaven's fingerprint on your soul, reminding you that you were not built to watch wars rage. You were created to stop them with the authority of the King who lives within you. So when the world tells you to be silent, open your mouth wider. When fear whispers you're too small, stand taller. When doubt screams you're not enough, remember who lives inside you. You are not here to survive chaos. You are here to conquer it. You are not here to escape the darkness. You are here to light it up. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand out so boldly that others remember what courage looks like. This world is desperate for something real. Be real. Be unshaken. Be unashamed. Be the living proof that faith is stronger than fear, hope is more powerful than despair, and love still wins over hate. You are God's answer to chaos. Have you ever felt like you're fighting battles that keep coming back no matter how hard you swing? Have you ever wondered why your strength runs out, your patience dries up, and your courage melts away right when you need it most? Let me tell you a secret that will change how you fight forever. Your real battles are not fought with fists or fierce words. They are won on your knees in the quiet place where the invisible becomes unstoppable. You can't win spiritual battles with carnal weapons, and that's exactly why so many people are losing. Look around, everyone is arguing, debating, yelling, canceling, threatening. Everyone's fighting to be louder, tougher, meaner. Yet the chaos grows, the division deepens, the wounds bleed fresh. Why? Because the real war is not flesh against flesh, but spirit against spirit. It's not about who has the sharpest comeback or the biggest platform. It's about who knows how to touch heaven and shake hell at the same time. You have access to weapons that can break chains no sword could ever cut. Weapons that silence lies no argument could ever hush. Weapons that tear down strongholds that have held families captive for generations. These weapons aren't forged in earthly factories, they're forged in the presence of Almighty God. Prayer is not a nice bedtime routine, it's a battlefield where you call down heaven's power to crush hell's schemes. When you choose to drop to your knees instead of throwing your hands up in defeat, something shifts in the unseen realm. When you whisper prayers for your enemies instead of cursing their names, something breaks in the spirit world. When you fast instead of feasting on distractions, you weaken the enemy's grip and strengthen your own resolve. You don't have to shout to be heard in the courts of heaven. You don't have to fight dirty to win clean. You just have to pray like you believe your Father is listening, because He is. Some of you have been swinging at shadows, wasting your energy trying to fix what can't be fixed by human means. You're exhausted because you've forgotten that this fight requires armor you can't see and weapons you can't hold in your hands. You don't conquer bitterness with more bitterness, you conquer it with forgiveness. You don't destroy fear by pretending to be fearless, you destroy fear by trusting the one who is fearless. You don't win over darkness by cursing it, you win by lighting a candle and guarding that flame with all your might. Every time you declare the truth of God's word over your situation, you unsheath a sword sharper than any lie the enemy can throw. Every time you choose faith over doubt, love over hate, peace over chaos, you unleash a power the gates of hell cannot stand against. You may not feel it, you may not see it immediately, but heaven moves when a child of God prays like they believe the battle is already won. People may mock you for praying when you could be posting. They may laugh at you for worshiping when you could be worrying. Let them laugh. Let them scoff. Because the same people who dismiss your prayers today will be the ones knocking on your door tomorrow, desperate for the power they once mocked. They'll see the peace in your eyes while everyone else panics. And they'll know you carry something real, something they can't find on a news feed or buy with a credit card. You are more dangerous on your knees than an entire army armed with missiles and threats. The enemy knows it. That's why he tries to distract you, discourage you, keep you too busy to pray, too tired to worship, too angry to forgive. He knows that if you ever wake up and remember that your real weapons are spiritual, he's finished. So wake up, pick up your sword, open your mouth, fight smart, fight on your knees, fight with truth, with love, with relentless, bold faith that refuses to bow to fear. You are armed and dangerous in ways this world can never understand. What if I told you that the greatest battles you will ever fight won't happen on a stage or in a spotlight, but behind closed doors where no one is watching? What if I told you that your true victory doesn't begin in the crowds, but in the quiet corners of your home and the hidden chambers of your heart? So many people want to change the world while neglecting the place that shapes their world the most, their own home and their own soul. Hear me. Before you can guard the gates of a city, you must guard the door of your house. And before you can guard your house, you must guard your heart. Look around you. The enemy knows if he can't defeat you in public, he will try to destroy you in private. He wants your family divided. He wants your marriage cold. He wants your children lost and wandering. He wants your heart polluted with bitterness, your mind tangled in worry, your soul weighed down by secret sin. Because if he can get you to lose the war within your walls and within your chest, he doesn't need to attack you anywhere else. He knows a wounded warrior can't fight long, so what do? You become a gatekeeper. You stand at the entrance of your home and declare, no more chaos here, no more strife here, no more fear here. You build an altar in your living room by making your house a house of prayer. When others are yelling, you are praying. When others are gossiping, you are worshiping. When others are scrolling, you are seeking. Peace in your home doesn't come from a quiet neighborhood or a locked door. It comes from the Spirit of God reigning inside those walls because you invited him in every single day. But it doesn't stop at your front door. What good is guarding the house if your own heart is left wide open to attack? Some people protect their bank accounts better than they protect their souls. They install alarms, cameras, locks, but leave their mind unguarded for every lie, every doubt, every fear to sneak in and build a fortress. It's time to flip that around. Guard your heart like it's worth more than gold, because it is. When bitterness knocks, don't open the door. When offense whispers, don't let it sit at your table. When anxiety tries to unpack its bags and move in, remind it that your heart is already occupied by the Prince of Peace. You can't stop trouble from knocking, but you can choose who gets to stay. This means you might have to shut some things off. Shut off the gossip that feeds suspicion. Shut off the shows that glorify what you're trying to crucify. Shut off the voices that drain your courage and inflate your fears. A guarded heart is a healthy heart, and a healthy heart builds a peaceful home. Imagine what would happen if you walked through your house praying over every room, every bed, every door. Imagine laying hands on your children while they sleep, speaking blessings into their future before they even know what battles they'll face. Imagine covering your spouse in prayer instead of complaints, lifting them up instead of tearing them down. This is how you win wars you can't see. This is how you stop generational curses and plant seeds for generational blessings. Your house may be small, your family may be broken, your circumstances may be hard, but your prayers are bigger than every wall and stronger than every chain. Your heart may be weary, but the one who lives there does not sleep or slumber. He guards what you surrender to him. So stand watch. Be fierce about your peace. Be bold about your boundaries. Be relentless about what you allow to grow in the garden of your soul. Protect the sanctuary God has trusted you with. Your home, your heart. The world may rage outside, but when God rules inside, no storm can tear it down. Have you ever walked into a room so heavy with negativity that you could almost taste the hopelessness in the air? Have you ever listened to conversations that drain the courage out of your bones and replace it with silent despair? What if I told you that you have the power right now to break that atmosphere open and flood it with life? What if I told you that what you speak can shift the climate of an entire house, a workplace, a friendship, even your own mind? Because you do. You have a voice, and your voice is a weapon when it carries the breath of heaven. Too many people don't realize that death and life really are in the power of the tongue. They speak defeat over their own future. They declare failure over their own children. They curse their own blessings without even thinking. And then they wonder why everything seems to stay broken and barren. You don't have to be one of them. You can be the one who speaks life into dead places. You can stand where others have fallen silent and open your mouth to release words that build, restore, and resurrect. Think about the world around you. It is desperate for truth wrapped in love. It is starving for encouragement that breathes hope instead of fear. People are dying on the inside, even while pretending to have it all together. One genuine, spirit-filled word from you can be the seed that grows a forest of faith in a desert of doubt. Your words are not empty. They echo in eternity when they are aligned with God's heart. You see, anybody can repeat what they see. Anybody can talk about how bad it is, how impossible it looks, how hopeless it feels. But you are not called to echo the problem. You are called to prophesy the solution. When everyone else says it's over, you stand up and say, not yet. God's not finished. When the news says it's too late, you declare he's right on time. When someone says this marriage is dead, you whisper in prayer, God, breathe on these dry bones. Some of the most powerful miracles in Scripture happen because someone dared to speak life where there was none. Jesus didn't stay silent at Lazarus' tomb. He called him out. He didn't avoid the dead little girl. He said, little girl, arise. You carry that same spirit inside you. You may not raise someone from a physical grave, but you can pull people out of spiritual graves every day with the words you choose to speak. This means watching what comes out of your mouth, even when you're angry, tired, disappointed. It means refusing to let gossip, criticism, or doubt flow freely when you could be speaking peace, blessing, and faith. It means praying over your own mouth, Lord, let my words build, not break. Let my tongue bless, not curse. Let my speech heal, not wound. Sometimes you won't feel strong enough to declare hope over others because you can barely find it for yourself. That's when you dig deep, stand firm, and speak it anyway. Because your words are not fueled by your feelings, but by his promises. It's not about faking it, it's about faithing it. It's about believing that even when you see dry bones, heaven sees an army. Parents, speak life over your kids when they mess up. Spouses, speak life over your marriage when it feels strained. Friends, speak life into your circle when fear and anxiety take over. Speak life over yourself when shame tries to shut you up. Remind your soul that you are not what the world says, you are who God says. You carry resurrection power on your tongue. Your words can plant seeds of revival in hearts that have been hardened by disappointment and pain. Speak like you know heaven is listening and hell is trembling. Speak like you know chains break when you open your mouth in faith. Speak life. Speak hope. Speak the promises that darkness can't drown and doubt can't silence. Speak what God says, not what fear says, not what the crowd says, not what your circumstances scream. Speak life and watch dead places come alive again. Have you ever felt the ground shake under your feet? Not just in the world around you, but in the deepest parts of your soul? Have you ever watched people you trusted crumble under pressure? Watch leaders you admired compromise when the fire got too hot? Have you ever wondered if you'll be strong enough to stand when everything you counted on seems to collapse? I'm here to remind you today, you were built to stand unmoved when others fall. You were created to be a pillar in a generation swayed by every wind and wave. In this world, compromise is cheap and courage is rare. People will sell their integrity for a moment of applause. They will sacrifice their convictions just to belong. But not you. You are not made of the same stuff as those who bow to the pressure of culture. Deep inside you, there is a holy steel in your spine that can only come from walking with the one who never changes. Look around. Fear shouts through headlines, confusion reigns on social feeds, and discouragement crawls into hearts like a silent plague. It's easy to follow the crowd when the crowd is panicking, to echo their fear when fear feels safer than faith. But you were never called to echo fear. You are called to carry faith that outlasts the storm. When others run, you stand. When others hide, you lift your head high. When the world bends, you stay anchored. Standing unmoved doesn't mean you're not afraid. It doesn't mean you don't feel the tremors. It means you trust your foundation more than you trust your feelings. It means you know that even if the mountains crumble and the seas roar, your God is still on the throne, and he holds you steady with his righteous right hand. There is a reason people look for you when crisis hits. It's because they know you carry a calm they can't manufacture on their own. Your stability exposes their instability. Your peace is a testimony that there is a rock that does not crack under pressure. You don't have to preach a sermon. Your endurance is a sermon. Your unwavering stand is a message louder than any shouted opinions. Some people will try to convince you to lower your standard just a little. It's not a big deal, they'll say. Everyone's doing it, they'll whisper. But a small crack in a foundation can destroy an entire building when the storm hits. Don't give the enemy an inch, he'll take a mile. Guard your stand like it's your lifeline, because it is. You see, there is power in simply refusing to bow. When you refuse to bend under temptation, you inspire others to find their backbone again. When you hold your ground in truth while others twist it for convenience, you light a path back to righteousness for hearts that have lost their way. One person standing firm can shift an entire atmosphere of compromise into one of conviction. Some will misunderstand you. Some will mock you. Some will call you stubborn, old-fashioned, too radical. Let them talk. While they waver and wander, you will still be standing long after the storm has passed. You will be the shelter for the broken, the lighthouse for the lost, the steady voice that says there is a better way and it has never changed. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being planted. Oaks bend in the wind, but they don't uproot easily. Be an oak. Let your roots sink deep into truth. Your branches reach wide in grace, and your stand become a refuge for weary souls who have been tossed by too many storms. Your consistency is a weapon. Your faithfulness is a shield. Your unwavering heart is a fortress no enemy can breach. The world may shake, the ground may quake, but you were never called to live on shifting sand. You stand on the rock of ages. So when fear comes knocking, stand. When temptation comes whispering, stand. When the storm comes raging, stand. When the dust settles, you'll still be there, unmoved, unshaken, unafraid. Have you ever wondered why your life has felt like a battlefield from the moment you said yes to your calling? Have you ever asked why the attacks seem relentless, the obstacles appear impossible, and the opposition comes from directions you never expected? It's because you carry an authority that hell fears. You walk in a power that darkness can't stand. And the greatest secret the enemy hopes you never discover is that you were born to walk in victory, not defeat, daily, boldly, and unapologetically. Too many people are living as victims when they were meant to reign as victors. They wake up dreading the day instead of commanding it. They drag their feet through battles that have already been won at the cross. They let fear dictate their prayers and circumstances muzzle their faith. But you are not most people. You have been equipped with a royal decree. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. That is authority, and it belongs to you. Imagine how your life would change if you actually believe that heaven backs you up when you speak the name above every name. Imagine how your household would shift if you declared peace instead of rehearsing anxiety. Imagine how your city would transform if you walked its streets praying with boldness, knowing that demons flee and strongholds crumble when a child of God shows up full of authority. The enemy wants you to forget who you are. He wants you to shrink back, to stay silent, to believe the lie that your prayers bounce off the ceiling. He trembles when you remember the truth. You don't fight for victory, you fight from victory. You are not wrestling alone. The Lion of Judah roars behind your words. You are not just surviving, you are taking territory for the kingdom every time you step out in faith. This is why you must learn to walk and speak like one who carries heaven's endorsement. Stop apologizing for your anointing. Stop watering down your authority so that intimidated people feel comfortable. Stop waiting for permission to use what God already gave you. You are not ordinary. You are not powerless. You are not called to merely cope. You are called to conquer. Think about it. Kings don't beg. Warriors don't whimper. Ambassadors don't doubt their assignment, so why should you? You represent a kingdom that cannot be shaken, a king who cannot be dethroned, a covenant that cannot be broken. You stand on promises sealed in blood, spoken by the one who cannot lie. So lift your head, square your shoulders, pray like you know the angels are dispatched at the sound of your voice, worship like chains are breaking in places you can't even see. Some people will say you're too bold, too intense, too radical. Let them say it. You know what's radical? Living in defeat when victory was purchased for you. You know what's too intense? Letting the enemy run your household while you sit silently afraid to stir the atmosphere. You were not made for quiet resignation. You were made for courageous declaration. You were made to prophesy life over death, healing over sickness, freedom over bondage. This authority must be guarded, fed, and exercised. Guard it by staying humble. Pride will poison your power. Feed it by staying in the Word. Truth fuels your spiritual muscles. Exercise it by using it daily. Authority unused is authority lost. Don't wait for the battle to get worse before you remember you have weapons. Walk through your days clothed in righteousness, armored in faith and crowned with confidence that your victory is secure. You may not feel worthy sometimes. That's all right. This authority was never about your worthiness. It's about His worthiness credited to you. You are an heir, not a hireling. You are a warrior, not a victim. You are a child of the King, not a slave to fear. So open your mouth, lift your hands, claim the ground under your feet, and remind the forces of darkness that they